Well, today is a really great day. It's the 7th of April 2021, and I just received, at last, my French European Union private pilot's license.
Kilo, good morning.
Fox X-Ray Kilo, Kilo, good morning.
Good morning, Foxtrot Papa Yankee X-Ray Kilo, Juno 150. One person on board from Arcachon to Arcachon, just past Sierra Delta Point, 1,000 feet and 1026, just for overflight of the bay, 1,000 feet.
X-Ray Kilo, Squawk 7004.
7004, X-Ray Kilo.
Correct, X-Ray Kilo, and you can proceed 1,000 feet over Le Bassin d'Arcachon, QNH 102 feet.
Clear for 1,000 feet, 1026, X-Ray Kilo. Today is a special day for me because I finally received my license, my French license, which is the EASA license for European airspace. Why is this a big deal, you may ask yourself? Well, given that I put my request in to exchange my UK EASA license in November 2019, it's taken a long time to get it sorted out. There was a deadline for exchanging licenses, which unfortunately the DGAC, what with COVID and the rest of the kind of administration traffic jams that have been going on, my application kind of got lost. And we did the tour de France, actually, went around different offices and was eventually processed, but it was eventually processed after a lot of pushing and prodding and hassling, and it was processed too late for the deadline, which was the end of October, well, to make sure that all the UK licenses that wanted to be transferred into EASA licenses were done. You had to get your paperwork in by the end of October so they could be processed by the 1st of January 2021. With me that was not the case, and it was a massive panic. It's been a massive panic for the past few months. In fact, if you are a pilot, you will appreciate the impact that Brexit really has had on the aviation industry, in that a lot of pilots found themselves in a situation where they were technically not correctly licensed and were being held up in queues to get the licenses exchanged. I mean, a lot of airline pilots and professional pilots had the paperwork done by their airlines and their companies. A lot have gone through Luxembourg, I think, or Malta. Because I'm now a French national, I wanted my French license, and today it's done, 7th of April 2021. I imagine that if I want to, because I've still got my UK private pilot's license, but if I want to keep that valid, I'd have to do a single engine piston skill test renewal in the UK, I guess, on a G-Reg aircraft. Which, there's no point in me doing that because I don't live there anymore. I need to be able to fly European registered aircraft like this one. Temperatures and pressures in the green. It's a very, very weird situation here in France at the moment. It's a kind of phony lockdown. I mean, a lot of things seem to be going on as normal, and yet all of the non-essential shops are closed. No restaurants, of course, still, no bars, no cafes. And particularly this time of year when spring is here and it's just so beautiful, and the flowers are out and trees, the blossom is blooming. It's very strange to be in this kind of no man's land of semi-lockdown. And once again, I'm so glad I've got a garden, because I can imagine that if you're living a 10th floor flat with 3 young children, it must be a bit of a nightmare again. Every time you go into lockdown, it must be very difficult to deal with.
X-Ray Romeo, c'est noté. Toujours 1026.
Well, it's a much nicer day today. I mean, there's a bit of wind, but it's a much nicer day today than Saturday. I went flying on Saturday with the Wingley, my last Wingley before lockdown. And the poor girl, I did say to her, if you want to postpone, let's postpone to a calmer day. But she was up for it, and it was really bumpy. I did film that, but I will not be showing it out of respect for the poor girl, because she threw up as we came back over Whiskey Point, back to over the dune. And the sick bag I have always in the back of the aircraft was too far back for me to reach. Stupidly, I know to myself in future I'll always have a bag very handy. And all I could grab was a yellow duster that I had just behind her seat, and she threw up into the yellow duster. Well, she aimed pretty well, but let's say it did not all go into the yellow duster. And the poor girl, I mean, it was pretty disgusting, dripping everywhere. I will not be showing you that video. I filmed it in glorious 360 degrees GoPro Max. I intended to give her like a souvenir movie to show her, the souvenir of her flight, but I probably will send it to her. I mean, she was a real trooper and didn't panic, and she felt a lot better after it was all out, And when we landed, in that situation, you just got to concentrate on flying the aircraft and land safely. And it was a pretty turbulent day to start with, so the best of situations. And when we landed, he was able to clean herself up, and I cleaned up bits and pieces that were in the plane, and on the mic of the headset that I'd lent her, and on the buckle of the seatbelt. Anyway, that was the first. I'll be very happy if I don't have another one of those for a very long time. And actually, later on that day, on Saturday, I meant to show you it was a very rough day. One of the guys from the flying club was taking people up in one of the Robins, and one of his passengers threw up and pretty much panicked. And it was a bit projectile, without being too graphic. It went all over the place, and he spent 3 hours cleaning the aircraft up. These things happen. But I will be making sure that next time I take a passenger up, I have the necessary equipment. That's part of my checklist now. Literally just going up for a quick flight around the base. We're actually not allowed to fly more than 10 kilometers from the airfield either, or from our home. If we're going to keep this strict, we're not allowed to fly more than 10 kilometers in a radius 10 kilometers from our home. And I guess because I live 2 kilometers from the airfield, it's pretty much the same. And of course, at the end of this month, we're going to start the annual maintenance on this aircraft. So if all goes well, and if we don't find any problems, it'll be out of action for a week. And of course, if we do find any problems, it could be longer than that. Okay, so I'm going to ask CASA if I can leave their frequency and contact Arcachon to go back. CASA Fox X-Ray Kilo, à 2 minutes de whisky, j'aimerais contacter Arcachon. Entendu.
X-Ray Kilo 7000 transpondeur, Arcachon, au revoir.
Transpondeur 7000 et merci beaucoup. I forgot to speak in English. Arcachon, Fox, X-Ray Kilo, de retour avec vous, 30 secondes de whisky pour retour au terrain.
X-Ray Kilo, et bien après whisky, rappel novembre, 07 1026.
There's the Corniche, I've mentioned before, very, very cheap and at mode hotel, bar, restaurant, and of course we're going to get a bit of turbulence over the sand dune. Temps and pressures in the green still. X-Ray Kilo novembre.
X-Ray Kilo, rappel fin de vente arrière.
Rappel fin de vente arrière, 07, X-Ray Kilo.
Je rappelle le point Bravo, Golf.
X-Ray Kilo, fin de vente arrière, 07.
X-Ray Kilo, rappel final.
Rappel final, X-Ray Kilo. 130 knots in the downwind. This little hillock is my visual reference point for turning. Base.
Golf India, vous êtes bien 2 à bord. Hein. X-Ray Kilo, 100 degrés 8 nœuds.
X-Ray Kilo, ça sera pour l'herbe. And 10 on final. Beats out. I still. I get used to using my feet a bit more. Off on the right there.
Arcachon du Foxtrot Delta Novembre, bonjour, on est à 2 minutes de la verticale de l'installation, on arrive Novembre Echo pour une sortie direction Caso Novembre.
Et ensuite Delta Novembre, eh bien, rappelez 30 secondes de la verticale, QNH 1026 et la piste 07 en service.
QNH 1026 et puis 07 en service,